Alright everyone, welcome back again to more of the Hungry Lamb. It's about, 11:19 here where I am. It's nighttime and I figured it was a good time to play this game right now, considering it would be a quiet night and a good time for me to, just enjoy it for what it is without any interruptions. But it also kind of prevents me from acting out a little too loudly because again, it's kind of late, but who's to say? But anyways, we're going to continue on from where we last left off, guys, so I hope you all enjoy. Thank you all for the love and support. And let's continue on. It was hot and the ground was really dry. I sat in front of my house, lost in thought, with my arms around my knees and my chin rested on them. I'd been crying. My tears flowed, and my nose ran too. I hadn't been drinking much water, so I didn't shed too many tears even though I cried my heart out.
穗儿，别生气了。我们煮了那黎奴也是没办法。
Oh, really?
他本来就要死了，都趴在地上不叫了，眼睛眯着，本就难活过今天了。
That sucks. I crouched by the doorway, listening to my mom's voice coming from inside the house. Mom was talking to me, but I pretended I didn't hear. Because I was still mad at my mom. I hated my mom because she just cooked my kitten.
穗儿，别耍性子了，人都快饿死了，还管得了畜生？你奶奶一天昏过去几次，梦话都念叨着想开荤。你这孩子，到底是要奶奶还是要黎奴啊？
Well, I mean, you can't really call her selfish. That was her pet. That was her friend. You killed him.
穗儿，听话，趁热也来吃点吧。
Nah, buddy.
不吃算了，再晚点，财儿就都吃完了，一点都不给你留。
Mom kept yapping on, accompanied by the sound of my brother gobbling down the meat. He bit into a leg, teeth sinking to a piece of meat still attached to the bone, then took a big gulp of soup. I almost wish this wasn't so detailed in how they ate the cat. I don't need to know that. Yes, you can skip over the details a little bit, I don't need to know. I didn't want to hear those sounds. The smell of the meat soup wafted through the air, a sour tang with a bit of gamey smell. This smell made me want to puke, but it also made my stomach growl from hunger. I didn't want to smell that. I tried hard to cover my ears and also wanted to pinch my nose shut, but I couldn't do it because I only had 2 hands. So I drooped my head and pressed my entire face against my knees until it was hard for me to breathe. The gap between my knees made it difficult for me to hide myself and escape from this home I didn't want to be in.
连云，穗儿正心情不好，别去扰她了，让她自己静静。女儿也大了，她能想明白的。唉。
I heard that deep sigh from Dad. Lately, Dad had been drooping wheat stalk, lacking vitality, spending his days sighing with his head hung low. It had been a long while since I last saw the dad who used to smile constantly and provide a sense of security. Everything had changed. It was completely different from 2 years ago. It hadn't rained for a long time. The last time it rained, my brother was still very young, and Mom had to carry him around all day long. I recalled that day from 2 years ago when I was 8 years old, when it rained heavily. There were a lot of fish in the river. I caught one and fed it to the kitten. That day, Dad even brought a sweet potato back for our family. It was the first time I'd ever had a sweet potato. I hadn't seen rain since that day. Without rain, a lot of things changed. The river became shallow, and the fish died. The ground cracked and the wheat also perished. The wheat began to fade, turn yellow, and then wither away before it could even fully mature. Dad desperately wanted to revive the wheat. He grabbed his hoe, loosened the soil, and worked tirelessly from dawn till dusk. At first, he would smile and encourage us, saying that everything would turn out alright. so long as he worked hard, better days would come. However, the wheat continued to wither away, bit by bit. One morning, I saw my dad sitting on his knees in the wheat field. Looking around, I could see that all the wheat in the entire field had withered and died. The way wheat and fish die are quite similar. When a fish dies, it lies in the dried riverbed, eyes wide open, gasping for breath slowly. Similarly, when wheat dies, it too lies in the cracked earth, swaying gently with the wind, rising and falling slowly. I stuck a glance at Dad. I saw him clutching the lifeless body of wheat stalk in his hand. He held it close to his chest, gritting his teeth, drooping his head as if he was in tears. Gradually, his grip tightened, crushing the wheat in his palm, scattering it into the dry wind. Dad tried his best, but nothing good came of it, leaving him shaken. He began to blame himself, regretting the reckless spending from 2 years ago when he bought that sweet potato. I wasn't sure if he cried or not, but I think he did.
我上次去换粮的时候，看到镇上的很多屋子都是空的。
人都逃走了。
啊，听说都在往东跑，要往陕州去。
陕州？沈姨不是说那里刚闹了兵变，知县都被人杀了？
沈姨净会扯些流言。我问过乡老，他说那里并没有兵变。而且你仔细想想，陕州临近潼关，周围驻扎了那么多军队，谁敢在那儿兵变啊？
I was still sitting at the doorway, watching the barren land in the distance while eavesdropping on my parents' conversation. They mentioned some towns to the east, like Shanzhou and Tongguan. What kind of place are Shanzhou and Tongguan? What is a rebellion?
唉，现在怎么办？家里的存粮也不多了。我反复算了一下，咱家这5口，哪怕每天泡稀粥，也只够吃1个月。
So I'm assuming they're gonna have to move or go and leave their home on a journey.
要么，我们也往东逃。
It's looking like it.
不行，娘走不了，2个娃儿也还小，咱们挪不动啊。而且现在所有人都往东逃，官道、山里都是蹲着抢粮的盗匪，不好走啊。
可这样下去，吃不上饭要怎么办？
镇上的当铺还开着，我明天再去当些东西，再去找乡老买些粮。
要么，把我的镯子也当掉吧。
That's no, don't. I get it though.
那是你爹留给你的，还是算了吧。
当掉吧，现在粮价一直在涨，趁早当了买粮。等灾年过去，我们再把它赎回来。
可是。
Mom and Dad were still discussing about exchanging food. I heard Mom was going to pawn her bracelet. That bracelet looked quite lovely. It was part of the dowry left to my mom by her family. The can was in because we needed to eat. Mom was going to pawn her bracelet so we wouldn't starve. Perhaps I should forgive Mom? Suddenly, I heard my grandma coughing. Grandma was awake. She was sick for quite a few days and even passed out because of it. We were so worried about her, and she was finally awake.
娘
Dad and Mom quickly gathered around Grandma as she woke up.
刚才你们是不是给我喂了点汤啊？
对，给娘喂了一点汤，我喂的。
什么汤啊？酸味儿那么重。
黎奴的肉汤。
哎呀，怪不得
啊！汤还有一点儿，娘要不要再喝点儿？
不要，我不喜欢黎奴的味道，而且呀。 我马上要去见阎王爷了，不必给我喝汤了，你们自己喝吧。
Man, we're gonna be going through a lot of other characters' flashbacks that involve this much tragedy, huh? This sucks.
娘，不要说这么不吉利的话，你的气色比昨天要好多了。
我自己怎样，也只有自己知道。我刚去了一趟鬼门关，见了牛头马面，他们想用锁链套我，我一甩身子，给挣开了。我不是怕跟他们走，只是有事儿还没跟你们说完啊。
哎，娘，你说吧。
这灾呀，来得突然，但想来也早有预兆。早几年你爹走的时候，我就做了噩梦，梦到的场景和现在一模一样。现在说的话，好像在梦里也都说过。你们在我走后，一定要去找水，要去找蛇，蛇的旁边可以挖井，有了井，村里的人都活了。咱后院的那宝贝，不要吃，不能卖，因为有神仙寄宿在上面。不能得罪神仙。我想见彩儿，彩儿在哪儿啊？
奶奶，我在这儿。
哎，彩儿真乖。
Grandma called out to my brother once, and my brother ran over to her side. Grandma tended to be more affectionate toward my younger brother than toward me. Whenever something happened, she would usually call for him first. She would often forget about me.
穗儿呢？
Oh, she didn't forget about you today. However, I was caught off guard. This time, it didn't take long for her to call my name. I stood at the same spot, hearing Grandma calling my name. I wasn't sure why, but I was getting a bit nervous. I wasn't sure how I should face her. Not long ago, I got mad at Grandma because Mom said Grandma wanted to have some meat, which led to the kitten being cooked. But now, for some unknown reason, I'm not really mad at her anymore.
穗儿，快过来！
Mom called out to me. I didn't hold a grudge anymore. Instead, I obediently sat by Grandma's bedside with my younger brother.
奶奶，我来了。
I gently called out to Grandma before sitting down and looking at her. Grandma was lying on the bed. Her breathing was weak but steady. I thought she would look pale since her body was weak. However, her face was actually a bit red at the moment. The wrinkles on her forehead smoothed out, and a smile graced her lips, giving her a gentle and kind appearance. In my recollection, Grandma was always fond of arguments, to the extent that one might even say she enjoyed stirring up trouble for no reason. Whenever someone in the family did something slightly wrong, she would follow them around nagging for half the day. But now, she's different from before, appearing so kind and gentle. It felt somewhat unfamiliar. I could hardly recognize this version of Grandma anymore.
彩儿，穗儿，来，奶奶要给你们讲故事。
娘，你这身体还是好好休息吧。
哎，不休息， 我比刚才感觉更有精神了，睡不着了。我就想给2个娃儿多讲点故事。你们忙你们的，就不要管了。
Grandma gasped for breath as she scolded Dad for attempting to get her to rest. In that moment, she bore a striking resemblance to the grandma I knew so well.
才儿啊，之前听过鬼差的故事吗？
没。
那吞妖的故事呢？
也没。
哎呀，那看来奶奶之前净给穗儿讲了，都没给你讲。那我先讲吞妖的故事吧。几百年前，华州附近的华山上住着一头豚妖，修为1000年，专吃小娃子。4个小娃子被捉了去，其中有个勇敢的娃子藏了一把刀，准备要杀那豚妖。
Grandma told us a story about the swine demon. The sun went down as she went on and on. The sunlight in the room grew dimmer and dimmer, as did the light in Grandma's eyes. When the night came, Grandma's voice grew increasingly faint. Each word seemed to be a struggle, with her trying hard to breathe while speaking through her clenched teeth. Oh, so she's gonna pass here? Eventually, she stopped before finishing the story. I thought she fell asleep at first, but I didn't hear her breathing. Dad came over and touched Grandma's wrist, then stood there absent-minded without saying a word. I also touched Grandma's wrist. It was icy and cold. After that, Mom and Dad gathered around Grandma and cried. My brother started crying too after seeing them in tears. The room echoed with the sound of weeping. I was stunned and stood still. As I glanced at everyone, I felt as if my heart was being gouged out with a knife, but I didn't cry. Earlier today, I had already cried all my tears for the kitten. By the time midnight came, there were none left for my grandma. Aw, man. Please tell me it's the... Oh, thank goodness. I don't think I can handle a flashback right now. Oh, that was sad. Leaving Shuigao village, it's a 3-day journey for Wenchang. Each day we walked a bit, munched on rations at dusk, and drank water. Nothing out of the ordinary happened along the way. If anything stood out, it was how the lambs started getting along better. One time, with Tongue snoring away, I feigned sleep. The lambs took the opportunity to exchange a few whispers.
姐姐，你原来不是哑巴呀？是呀，不是哑巴。姐为啥要装哑巴？哑巴做事方便，谁都会对哑巴戒心少一些。可要是被星爷和良爷发现了怎么办？你们不说，他们便发现不了呀。应该不会说吧？不说的，一定不说的。姐姐，谢谢昨天把你的粮分了我一块儿。没事儿，你多吃点，好长大。
I mean, at the very least, they're all, comfortable with one another.
话说，你们为啥都叫我姐姐呀？为什么觉得我比你们大？
我也不知道，姐虽然和我一样高，但是感觉更像一个大人。而且叫不出姐的名字，我也只能叫姐啦。
我看起来还更像大人啊。 对了，姐姐叫什么名字？我知道，翠儿叫翠儿，红儿叫红儿，他们也知道我的名字，我们就是不知道姐姐的名字。
我的名字是穗，你们叫我穗姐姐就好。不过，千万要记得，不要在星爷面前同我说话。星爷若是知道我不是哑巴，会打死我的。
明白的。
Mansui whispered to the lamb, serious-like. I peeked, trying to hear. She told him a different name than the one she told me. I heard Mansui, but they just heard Sweet. What's her real name? She hiding it from me too? I mean, I wouldn't blame her. For 3 days, I had been thinking about these lambs, wondering where they were from, what they had been through. Kept me going, stopped me feeling too hungry. We agreed 1 meal a day. Not much for them, definitely not enough for me. With just the afternoon meal, come midnight, my belly started growling. Felt like there was a storm brewing inside. By dawn, maybe I started enough because hunger faded away. At noon, with the sun blazing overhead, the water in my belly turned into fire, making me parched and dizzy. I felt like I had lost a part of myself, my steps heavier than when I was full. Thankfully, the days like these didn't last. 3 days later, we crossed the main road and reached Wenchang. Tung was right. Yin-san did indeed have an inn in Wenchang. After we arrived, we asked around and quickly found it in the eastern part of town. It looked a lot like the one back in Huazhao, with similar size and decorations, just some minor differences in how the tables and chairs were arranged. Tung went inside to talk to the inn waiter. The lambs and I waited in the lobby, catching bits of their conversation from a distance.
这位呀，请问您是哪位呀？是三爷的朋友吗？
I'm starting to notice that most people that are connected to Yin-san look very similar to him.
是啊，我们是尹三儿那边的人，正在替他运货。货是4只小羊，要运到洛阳。
Like they both have the face of a fox. Or maybe air of one too.
哦，三爷的活我知道的，2个月前刚接过一对。
接过一对，也是去洛阳的吗？
是啊，都是往那儿送的，而且也是几只小羊。
They're sending out more lambs too, besides the ones that we're taking care of. Wow. I wonder if Liang is gonna befriend them too, or if it's just gonna be these main girls here.
先不说这个，我们走了几天了，需要在这儿休息1天，再补充一些补给。
明白，您在这儿休息就行。接三爷的活儿，在这儿住是不要钱的。若是想买什么东西，我告诉您在哪儿买。
好，我知道了。那还有一件事儿，想找你打听一下。
什么事儿？
李贵是不是在城里啊？他现在在哪儿？
李贵，哦，李爷呀，他今天去东市的一家酒楼了。我等会儿给您指条路。
啊，不用，我知道哪个酒楼，上次他带我去过。
Tung and the waiter were nearly done talking. They whispered a bit more. Then Tung came out of the back room and joined us in the main hall.
呀，我一会儿去市集买些补给，顺便去见个朋友。
We can still buy food here?
买得到，毕竟是大城，有是有，但是价格听说翻了一番呢。他妈的！
Even if they've doubled, we're still gonna buy. It's a long way to Luoyang. Also, what should I do while you're out shopping and seeing friends?
你看着这些小羊就好啊！我刚才跟店小二说了，带你们去澡堂，你可以带小羊们洗洗。
You're not washing up before we go out?
我不用，我今天不住这客栈，要找李贵给我安排个地方住，也顺便在那儿洗了。齐罗粉黛，浑圆妥帖，可比这些小羊们有的看呢。嘿嘿，哥知道你不好这一口，不然呢也带你开开荤呐。
Tung winked and gave my shoulder a tap as he walked. After seeing his expression, I recalled who Li Gui was. Li Goe, is that how you pronounced it? I met him once. He's like Yin San in Wenshang, doing similar work, but he mostly sold women, not lambs. He often tricked respectable women from far-off places into brothels, or dressed up girls from brothels to sell them elsewhere as servants. That's the sort of business he was always in. He ran a tavern in Wenshang, full of courtesans. Tung went to find him, to stay the night too. I reckon he was up for a chat and some fun. I was not much into that stuff. Better keep an eye on the lambs, so they don't wander off.
Liang爷，水已经烧好了，这边请。
After Tung left, the waiter took us to the inn's bathhouse in the back hall. It was a big bathhouse, about 3 times as large as the inn's lobby. There was a big pool in the middle and a large wooden tub next to it. Wooden buckets sat by the pool and tub, filled with hot water. White steam rose from the water, floating in the air like tiny clouds. The waiter then left, leaving only me and the lambs in the bathhouse. Hey, I'll untie your ropes so you can all take a bath. I'll use the big pool over there, and you can use the wooden tub. After washing, we'll rinse our clothes in a nearby stream and let them dry for tomorrow. As I talked to them about washing up and changing clothes, I untied the ropes around their waists.
梁爷，有事想问。
What's up?
我们要一起洗吗？
Yeah, you're all gonna bathe together.
不是，我是说，梁爷要跟我们一起洗吗？
Not together. I'll bathe in the pool, and you all in the tub.
那是同时洗吗？都在这个澡堂里洗吗？梁爷，我们要都在这个澡堂里。梁爷脱光衣服，我们也脱光衣服，是这样洗吗？抱歉，梁爷，可能是我多想了。但是，男女授受不亲。爹娘说过，女子的身体只能给丈夫看。
I get it now. But remember, a few days ago when you needed to go, I was there too, right?
不一样，有草草，梁爷看不到。而且，爹娘说了，女子满7岁便不可与男子共浴，这是严规，犯了会嫁不出去的。
I stayed quiet as Xianghua finished talking, not saying anything. Seeing me sound, she kept quiet too, not daring to speak. She kept her head down, maybe because she was very shy or scared, and didn't look at me. She stood up for her beliefs, not wanting to bathe in the same room with me. At first, I felt awkward, but thinking about it, it made sense. I thought the other lambs were just kids, too young for men and women shouldn't be too close. But for some, turning 7 meant a clear distinction between genders. While the other lambs came from simple families and didn't care much about customs. For Xianghua, raised in a strict home, it was a big deal. I've heard stories of well-born women, shamed and driven to extremes over their honor. While I may not see gender divisions as significant, she might. I nodded along with Xianghua's idea, but I wasn't sure if I should go along with it. These lambs were like goods to me, commodities to be bought and sold. If I agreed now, would they push back more later? Maybe bathing together would remind them of their place as goods. But I wasn't really one of those traffickers. Should I really go that far?
要么这样吧，琼华、红儿、翠儿，你们先洗，我和梁爷之后洗。
Why don't you all go together and I'll wash later? Why do I have to... Why am I going with you? Why? Just when everything felt stuck, Mansui suddenly blurted out something. Ah, She'd been quiet as a mouse. What she said caught me off guard. What's this little rascal up to?
随姐姐，你怎么说话了？你不能在梁爷面前说话的。
随姐姐，
Q was surprised because Sui spoke in front of me, while Hong and Chonghua stared at Sui in shock, unsure whether to be more alarmed by her sudden speech or her suggestion to bathe with me.
没事，梁爷知道我不是哑巴，不用担心的。
I'm surprised she didn't mention that earlier. Wanted to keep that secret too? Mansui looked up at me and gave me a little smile.
我提议你们先洗，我和梁爷后洗，是觉得这样才合适。男女授受不亲，琼儿家教严，不能与梁爷一起洗，也不好自己洗，干脆你们3个一起洗吧。可若是这样，难免梁爷会有些寂寞。梁爷若喜欢让女童陪着洗澡，我可以陪梁爷洗。
Oh, that's why she wants to. Well, I also believe that she actually just wants to talk to me, just between me and her. But I would prefer that she go bathe with the other girls and I go in my bath alone, you know? Mansui glanced at the other lambs, then at me. She seemed unsure, maybe a bit upset. The other lambs looked at Mansui with pity, then back at me. Their looks made me uneasy, like they thought I was some sort of oddball. Brat, don't go spouting nonsense. When did I say I like having girls around when bathing? I said we should all wash together to save the time and money of reheating the water. Forget it. What's the point of talking to you? You all wash up, and when you're done, I'll wash alone. There you go. See? That works out. I was annoyed by these brats staring at me, so I blurted something out and stormed out of the room.
谢谢梁爷。谢谢梁爷。
I heard the lambs thanking me as I left. I exited the bathhouse and shut the door behind me. I stayed outside while the lambs bathed within. Even with the door between us, I could still catch snippets of their chatter.
这水好烫。
这确实有点疼，看来还得再凉一下再进了。
水池这边不烫啊，我们可以去这里洗。穗儿姐，梁爷刚才说了，他要在水池洗，我们不能洗吧？梁爷说了吗？
我记得梁爷说过了，他说他要在水池里洗，要我们在木桶里洗。
我也记得。对，穗儿姐，我们还是不要。穗儿姐，你怎么踩到水池里了呀？
That doesn't surprise me.
没事的，我们也来这边洗吧，不用管太多。4个人用木桶太挤了，肯定是要用水池的。等我们洗完后，再帮梁爷换新的水就好。那好。穗儿姐会放水池里的水吗？我看看，应该是这么弄。怎么直接就放水了？会了。
Well, at least they're having fun, in their own right. I heard them talking about whether to use the pool or not. Eventually, they decided to go for it, led by Mansui. Alright, let them do as they please. As long as they can change the water for me later, it's all good.
水池里的水真舒服，这池子快跟猪的房子一样大了。
哎呀，姐，想拉臭臭。
你先憋着，你拉在这里，姐要打你的。
我能憋着。
I thought she was gonna go in the freaking spring.
姐，我想洗头，头痒了好几天了，怕有塞子。
你过来，我给你洗。
要把头放到盆里吗？
你等一下，别乱动，我先往盆里加水。
姐，不要加了，费进耳朵里了。 穗儿姐是哪里人？我，家里住在洛阳。洛阳，那不就是我们要去的地方吗？洛阳是什么样的？也没什么，就是一座很大的城镇，有很多人，有吃不完的粮食。琼儿是哪里人？我祖籍杭州，父母都是杭州人。杭州我知道，那是很美的地方。白娘娘和许宣在西湖相遇，后来被法海镇在了雷峰塔。我也听过白娘娘的故事，不过其实我对杭州也不了解。我出生后不久，爹爹就从杭州调到了京城，我们一家都在京城住。京城？哦，听说京城的皇宫很漂亮，金黄的琉璃瓦会发光，万岁爷就住在皇宫里。琼儿，你见过万岁爷吗？我没见过，但是爹爹见过。
I wonder how much time passed already. I'm pretty sure Liang just wants to take a bath already.
万岁爷是什么样的？爹爹说他很年轻，长得像龙，很威风。我虽然没见过万岁爷，但见过袁伯伯，他来过我们家里。袁伯伯？袁伯伯就是袁都师，穗儿姐不知道吗？不知道，我只知道京城有万岁爷，万岁爷管着天下百姓。红儿和翠儿也不知道吗？不知道。那不聊了。其实我也不知道太多袁伯伯的事，只知道他后来犯了错，不仅自己死得很惨，还害惨了我们家。我娘和袁伯伯是远亲，他被罚，我家也被罚了。听说琼儿，你是被星爷他们拐来的？1年前，有官兵带我们家去边关，路上，我被假官兵抱上了一辆车。
So you got people disguised as soldiers, posing as them, and taking away random strangers, especially women, huh?
我的身子被绑住，嘴巴被塞住，乘了很久的车，最后被送到了三爷那里。你没想过要跑？我不敢跑，三爷说我要是逃了被抓住，要被打死，还给我看了小孩的骨头。
I can't help but feel like that's obviously a lie to scare them because they obviously need them if they're gonna be sold off. But of course they don't know that, so that's unfortunate, and it keeps them in line.
而且，爹娘早就不要我了，他们本来就没想着找我。这是尹三和你说的。那你别信他，也别怕他，你爹娘一定还想找你的。
At first I thought the parents didn't care, but it seems like she was tricked by Yin Sun. I heard Matsui and Chonghua talking a lot. They seem to be talking about things they shouldn't. Their voices got quieter afterwards, almost too quiet to hear. They probably realized I might be listening from outside the bathhouse, whispering secrets. Could those two lambs be planning to escape? That won't work. Hey, quit chatting and bathe. I'll give you one more stick of incense time. If you're not done by then, I'm coming in.
亮爷，你不能进来。
Why not?
我们还没洗完，洗完了还要洗衣服，一炷香时间不够。
Well, if you weren't too busy chatting, you would have had enough time to take a bath.
亮爷，还有一件事想要问你。
What's up?
我们等会儿洗了衣服要怎么换衣服？这里没有能换的衣服。
I heard the rascals chatting in the bathhouse. Seems like it's true. only told them to wash and dry clothes, but didn't give them any to change into. Without clothes to change into, they can't hang out the washed ones to dry and won't have anything to wear after bathing. Should I let them ask the inn waiter themselves? Didn't seem right. Wait, I'll go find you some.
谢谢梁爷。
Such a hassle. It already feels like they're siblings.
梁爷，你能找到梦刷吗？我们想刷刷脚。
Clean what? So much to do.
走了那么多天，脚脏的难受，不刷之后走不动。
Wait. Such a hassle.
梁爷，翠儿还是憋不住了，能找个尿壶吗？
You're bold to ask me to fetch that. Want a slap?
梁爷，那还是不找了，我不敢再提了。
梁爷，拜托去找个来吧。一会儿翠儿拉在水池里，你之后也不好洗。
Oh, this girl is good.
求求梁爷了，帮帮翠儿吧。
Wait. Such a hassle. The lambs had me fetch quite a few things for them. Some clothes, a wooden brush, and a chamber pot. I made a few trips each time, bringing these items to the bathhouse door and giving a light knock. Soon enough, a thin arm would reach out, thanking me quietly as they took what they asked for. I leaned on the bathhouse door, hearing the giggles of those lambs inside. Damn it, this wasn't right. I was supposed to be escorting these lambs. They were the cargo. I was supposed to deliver. But now they're giving me the runaround. When I first met these lambs, they were all trembling, afraid to even breathe loud around me. Now they were bathing first, and I was fetching things for them, treating me like some servant. Hold up. Why did I even agree to let them bathe on their own? And why was I standing guard at the door for them? When did they get so bold? I started thinking hard. And then I remembered that look of hers. Matsui's face all sad and pitiful. It's her. That little brat set me up. Yep. I fell for her act and stormed out. But really, am I overreacting a bit? They were just cargo for me to deliver. Why can't I ask them to keep me company like a master would? Being treated like some servant by them was just too much. I can't take it. Hey, stop bathing! Get out now! I yelled at the bathhouse door and slammed it hard, shocking the lambs' jokes and laughters into momentary silence.
梁爷，再等等。
Damn straight, you're taking too long. Wait, I'll count to 10, and if anyone's still inside, I'll dunk them in the water.
马上，马上。梁爷莫打，我们这就换衣服。
Please give me the choice to dunk them in the water. Ah, it's so ridiculous.
妹子，赶紧穿衣服。
姐，我又想拉臭臭了。
What?
憋，赶紧给我憋住，不许拉。
How long were you in there? After I counted 10, the lambs came out of the bathhouse wearing the inn's clothes. They looked clean and fresh, no more smell. I hurried them so their hair was still wet, sticking to their faces with little drops on their eyelashes. They fixed their hair while walking, leaving wet footprints on the wooden floor. The clothes were too big for them, making it hard to walk. But they'd give them back tomorrow, so it didn't matter anyway. I led the lamb upstairs and locked them in a room. After that, I wanted to take a bath and change clothes. But in the meantime, I need to do something important. You, later, you're joining me for a bath. I grabbed Mansui's arm, dragging her along. Not just because I didn't trust her being alone with the other lambs, feared she might stir up trouble or plot something, but also because I figured she'd been playing games in my head earlier, treating me like a servant, and I wanted to teach her a lesson.
梁爷，我洗过了。
It's my turn now. You go fetch wood, boil water, change water, do laundry. That'll make you sweat. After that, we'll hit the bath again.
这些事都让我一个人做，梁爷也真要我陪你洗啊。
Yep, all your job, and I do want you to bathe with me. I glanced at Mansui, smirked, and reminded her of my order.
好吧。
Seeing how determined I was, she stopped begging and quietly went along with me, head down as I pulled her by the arm. A splash. Mansui poured hot water into the wooden tub. She had to make lots of trips with the wooden basin to fill the whole tub, which took a long time. When changing the water, she walked carefully to avoid slipping. And when pouring water into the tub, she had to stand on tiptoe. It took her nearly 2 hours to finish, draining, cleaning, fetching wood, and adding water. By now, she was sweating a lot, her cheeks were red, but she was almost done.
良爷，我好累。
That's what you get for making me wait and treating me like a servant. Oh my god, this guy's crazy. Mansui stood in the bathhouse, her eyes tired, like she had no strength left. Her legs shook a bit from all the work, and she was covered in sweat. Seeing her like this, I couldn't stay mad. Even though I helped her get stuff. She worked hard for so long, it evens out. Alright.
那良爷帮我关回去吧。
Nope, you're all sweaty now. Might as well join me for another round of bathing.
啊，良爷真要陪着洗啊！我以为你只是为了捉弄我，随便说说的。
I never go back on my word, and if you go back now, besides getting sick, you'll smell sweaty. The other lambs might not like that.
啊，我身上有汗臭味吗？
You stink. But actually she didn't. I didn't smell anything. After hearing what I said, Mansui sort of agreed to my idea. She went to the wooden door, grabbed it with both hands and closed it. Then, with her back to me, she reached for an inch-wide rope belt, her fingers slipping into the knot. With a quick pull, the belt came undone, and her clothes opened up. There was a soft sound as her clothes slipped off her shoulders and fell to the ground, revealing her bare body. Just before her clothes fell completely, I couldn't help but look away. But even in the corner of my eye, I saw her slender figure. Her skin wasn't very fair, more like a wheatish color with a hint of pink. She was too thin, her bones showing, with her spine, leg bones, and shoulder blades clearly visible. She was sweaty from all the hard work she had just done. Sweat drops dotted her spine, shining in the dim bathhouse light. The only flesh on this lass was on her butt, I thought. Last time she was all fidgety about taking off her skirt. Why was she so cool with ditching clothes this time? Getting used to it, huh?
良爷，我脱完了。我是跟你一起在水池里洗，还是在木桶里洗？
You bathe in the tub.
好，
She nodded, feeling the water's warmth before stepping to the wooden stool and easing into the tub. With a splash, I knew she was in the tub, so I glanced her way. The tub overflowed, water cascading down like a waterfall. She popped out her head and shoulders, quickly ran her fingers through her hair, tucking it behind her ears. Then she turned towards me, her eyes twinkling.
呼，好烫好烫。良爷，良爷刚才没在看我呀。
She was surprised to realize I hadn't been looking at her and smiled brightly at me. Saw you, just nothing worth fixating on.
良爷觉得我很瘦吗？
Yeah, way too skinny. Looks kind of unhealthy. Hey, I'm stripping now. Turn around, don't peek.
嘿嘿，良爷不想我看你的身体吗？
What part of turn around and don't peek did you not understand? Actually, I do.
良爷都说了看过我的身体了，也让我看回来吧。除了爹爹，我还没看过其他男人的裸体，有些好奇呢。
Want a beating? Quite bold for your age, aren't you?
明明是良爷不支持，非要让我跟你一起洗。好了，我说错了，别打我。
I scowled and stared her down, wordless, like I was ready to rumble. She got spooked, turned her back, covered her eyes, and stayed quiet. I quickly undid my belt, tossed my clothes into a nearby basket, and sank into the pool. But darn, the water was too shallow. I could only get my lower half wet. My upper body was still out in the open. To wash up top, I had to scoop water with a wooden ladle and pour it over myself. Good thing I grabbed that ladle for the lambs earlier. It sure came in handy for me now.
良叶的身子好壮。
As I reached for the ladle, I heard Mansui's voice. She was leaning on the tub, curiously eyeing my body. I found myself getting annoyed for no apparent reason. The tub sat higher than the pool, so I lounged in the water. She peered down at me from above. She leaned against the tub, her chin propped on her arms, and looked down at me as if I were a child.
1、2、3、4、5、6、7。
What's with the counting?
我在数良叶身上的疤，一条大的，好多条小的，为什么有那么多疤？
All from blades. Been dealing with mountain bandits and caravan guards for years. Scraps happen. I'm not much for talk. When things get tough, fists fly. In the end, they're left dead, while I'm left scarred.
良叶杀过很多人吗？
Yeah, I have.
大概多少个？
Never counted. Dozens, maybe. Scared now?
不怕。
Quit fronting.
良叶，今天星野好像不在，他去哪儿了？
Went to find a woman to have fun with. In the East District, there's this tavern packed with women, curvy and busty. They put you skinny pups to shame.
那良叶为何不去和星野一起？
If I went, who'd watch over you all? Not to mention that I'm not interested in those places.
不感兴趣。难道良叶喜欢男人？
You're really asking for it today.
不想，我不多嘴了。哎呀，张嘴，张嘴。
She's got jokes.
话说，良叶现在还没娶媳妇儿吗？
I'm not planning to get married.
爹娘没给良叶安排吗？
My parents passed away long ago, so it's up to me. Getting married requires money and stability. I don't have enough of either right now, so I'm not getting married. If I can't even handle myself, why drag someone else into it? That isn't very smart and responsible for this guy.
也是。良叶想要什么样的媳妇儿？
One who's gentle, wise, and beautiful.
啊，好常见的想法。
What do you think I should want then?
我不知道啊，男人该怎么想，我也不知道。但是，我若是嫁人的话，就想嫁给我爹爹那样的人，勤劳本分，长得好看，身体也壮。
Isn't that also a pretty common thought?
也是。
It's kind of funny, you know? You're sharing a bath with me all exposed. If word gets out, good luck finding a husband for yourself.
哦，确实是如此。有了，那我以后嫁给良叶吧。
No,
什么不要？
I don't want someone like you, even if you grow up 10 years older and become a knockout beauty. I wouldn't marry someone with your personality.
被良叶嫌弃了。
She's good at the pouting, though. Mansui feigned tears, hiding her face in the wooden tub, though it was clear she wasn't really crying. Her earlier words were likely just jokes aiming to poke fun at me. This last, not a bit honesty in her.
良叶为什么怕吕布啊？
After a bit more soaking, Mansui suddenly lifted her head and asked, Huh? When was I afraid of Lubu?
上次学影子戏的时候，吕布刚要登场，良叶就吓得不敢看了。
I'm not afraid of Lubu. It's just that shadow play brings back some bad memories.
什么事啊？
In the 6th year of Tianqi, there was a massive explosion in the capital. You heard about that?
不知道，
You really are out of the loop.
良叶讲讲。
In the 6th year of Tianqi, about 6 years back, the ground shook in the capital, and then this huge fireball shot up into the sky, darkening everything in an instant. Houses collapsed like dominoes, and over 20,000 folks got turned to dust. Rocks, bodies, and bird corpses fell like rain from the sky. Elephants stampeded in panic, crushing the barely conscious below. Blood stained both the sky and the earth.
好恐怖。
Yeah, it was terrifying.
不过，良叶，这跟影子戏有什么关系？
When the explosion happened, my dad and I were watching a shadow play. Before I could react, the shadow play's white screen was shattered by the blast, sending us flying. I passed out. When I came to, my father's body was gone, just his left arm lying nearby where I was. I quietly shared the past with Mansfi, something I hardly ever told anyone else. She listened without a word, her face showing no emotion, like she was picturing it all. Not knowing what was going through her mind after a while of silence, I felt awkward and wish I hadn't spilled my guts to this lass. Forget it. I must be losing it. Why am I even talking to you about this? Get on with your bath. Once you're done, you'll be helping me with the laundry.
好呀，我来洗，给梁叶都洗干净了。
You're still in good spirits, not sweating your own future at all. We're halfway there already. Based on what you said before, once we reach Liang, you'll be eaten by the swine demon.
我知道啊，所以能过一天是一天。
Risking it all for revenge on your sister's killer sounds kind of reckless, don't you think? The dead rest easy while the living struggle to survive. Your sister's gone and your family's lost enough. Seeking vengeance will only leave your family with one less person. What's the point? I questioned her, and she fell silent for a moment. After a long pause, she finally spoke.
那梁叶，我若是说不想去报仇，也不去洛阳了，梁叶能放我走吗？